Hello, and welcome to week 10 of NPL, what is this, season 8? Yeah, we're up against Adam and the Bee's Knees and his Houston Solrockets. As you can see, it's a very scary team. Let's just jump straight into this as my music is kind of loud, as per usual, at least on my end. Up first, as you can see, we have the Cresselia Rocky Helmet. This is for the Lopunny. Speed for something, I forget what. I think it's creeping 84. I don't even remember what I could possibly be creeping, but I'm sure it was important. I played this a while ago. T-Wave for things like D-Knight and Lopunny. Ice Beam for D-Knight, Psychic for General Stab. This can't really touch a Drapion, but I could T-Wave it, and Helmet plus like the rest of my mons like Skarm and Downfan and Kangaskhan and Terrakion all kind of threaten it. So I'm not super worried about a Drapion. Speaking of, let's go into our other defensive mon. We have a Spadef Skarm with Impish Nature to help me take on Lopunny, Brave Bird for Rocks, Defog, Taunt for his things like Klefki, Defog for Klefki, and Rocks for general damage like to break multi-scale, and for the Blacephalon, which is kind of scary. I have an Akaberry, and that is to help me with things like Fire Punch D-Knight, Fire Punch Lop, and Blacephalon, as well as HP Fire Superior. Up next is Earthquake Donphan, just general Donphan. I wanted something with strong move for D-Knight, and it does really good damage to a D-Knight with Ice Shard if I'm adamant. And I didn't really know what to do with the rest of the EVs. I could have crept Klefki, but I really wanted the bulk for things like Lop and D-Knight and things like that. So that's what this is. Yeah, let's go into the breakers. And I say breakers as I go into my Spadef Curse Mega Kangaskhan. After a curse or two, this thing kind of does a lot of work. And if you bring some more defensive team with like Hippo and things like that, then this thing can do a lot. And it's just a bit more useless if he brings like HO, which is entirely possible, but I had to have some sort of check to like fat balance / semi-stall, so this is my answer to that. Up next is Spexprim. Spexprim he has no real switch into. He doesn't really have anything that really takes more than one hit from Spexprim. I could see like AV Klefki or like Spadef Klefki, maybe like an AV Drapion, maybe I don't even know what else he could bring. But this thing does a lot of damage, and it has some speed for something, I forget what. Potentially for no speed Klefki, might be what I'm thinking. And then last but certainly not least is the Wincon, and that is Scarf Terrakion. Scarf Terrakion just kind of goes in on his team. If he doesn't bring Blacephalon, which is kind of an awkward mon in general, some people don't like bringing it, I just went with CC if I can get everything weakened. Otherwise, if I can weaken the Lopunny and the Klefki, then I could just win with Stone Edge. And yeah, that's sort of the game plan going in. My matchup against Adam is ridiculously good, in my opinion. And ultimately, I'm not super worried about this game. It'll definitely be difficult, like all my other games, and I'm not gonna like sleep on Adam. He's a good player, but this game ultimately doesn't matter if Cheese wins, so I'm not super worried about like the result. So let's hide this. I don't want to hide the overlay, and let's hide that. Oh, I could hide me. What does me hide? Nothing. Sick. Okay. So, as you can see, he brought the Lop, Drapion, Blacephalon, Serp, Klefki, and D-Knight. Very offensive team. No rocks is my first notice, which means this is probably Spikes, maybe Screens Klefki. I can see T-Wave for things like Terrakion or Kangaskhan, if he doesn't want them to get out of hand. Maybe Toxic for Cresselia. Drapion could be Assault Vest, maybe some sort of SD or choice item. D-Knight's probably Z-move. Lop is probably all types of attacks, could be anything. Blaze I could see as maybe Scarf to sort of outspeed Blacephalon, or then like Specs or something. Or might I say Tout Speed like Terrakion or Jolteon. And then Serp is just a general annoyance to my team. I don't have great answers to Serperior in general. So we're going to go right into it. I'm going to lead Skarm as he leads D-Knight. And if I had Whirlwind, this would be a great turn for Whirlwind. I don't want to click Rocks as he DDs. So my answer is I'm going to go hard into Cresselia. Because if he Fire Punches or DDs, then I have T-Wave / Ice Beam to fire off. So, but he makes some read. I don't know if he ran into a Mox or if he just calls, or if he was just going into Drapion anyway. But he goes into Drapion on my Cress, and here I'm like, all right. Since he switched into Skarm, I'm assuming that this is like a taunt variant. So I'm just gonna switch out as he pursues me, and that does banded damage. That is a banded Drapion, and that's a problem. So I go into my Donphan, and I get a very free knockoff, and I get rid of the Assault Vest. I have to go into my Skarm on this Serperior, because that is my Serperior check with the Akaberry, and I get to set up my rocks. And here I'm going to go hard into Primarina on this Klefki, because nothing else really deals with the Klefki if it's Magnet Rise. I could have gone into Donphan, but then if he Magnet Rises, then I'm in a lot of trouble. So I figured Prim had no switch in, and he was likely staying in to set up Spike, so I'm going to go into my Prim and fire off a Hydro Pump as I miss, and he gets up another layer. He gets up his third layer, and I fire off a Hydro Pump, and I don't kill, so that's a Spadef Klefki. And he T-Waves me as I believe I miss. Yep. And now he either gets more damage, or he gets to switch out into something. He knows I'm Specs, and I miss the Hydro Pump on the D-Knight. He gets to Dragon Dance as I'm like, I just need damage on this thing. This isn't going to do a lot of damage, as it does in fact do a lot of damage. It does 50 to be precise. And here I realize I need to sack something. So out goes my Cresselia as he normal flies instead of Z flies, and he misses as I get to Moonlight up, and now I'm out of range of everything, but I believe, yeah, I'm out of range of everything, so I just Ice Beam, which is beautiful. I don't know if he misclicked or what his plan was with that. I guess he expected me to switch out, but he didn't take into account that I could just go into Cress and live. So, unfortunate for Adam. He does get to trap my Cresselia, meaning that my main Lop check is now gone because of this, as I stay in as he makes a good play and just knocks off. He gets rid of my helmet. I get to go into my Primarina. I know that if he's locked into knockoff, he can't really do anything to me. So I get to fire off a lovely Scald. And he gets to go into his Serperior. He doubles out, I believe, as I go into my Skarm. I didn't even want to make that. He makes a very good aggressive play here. And I have Akaberry, and him predicting me to switch out into something, probably into Kangaskhan or Terrakion. That's also what the Kangaskhan was Spadef for. It helps me switch into Blacephalon, so then Primarina doesn't have to do that job. Since it's immune to Shadow Ball and anything barring like Specs moves. I think Scarf Fire Blast does like 33 to Kang, which is gross. But anyway, I stay in with my Skarm and Brave Bird to try and chip it down, as he Will-O-Wisps, predicting me to switch. He Flamethrowers, and thanks to the Akaberry, I managed to live that, and I fire off another Brave Bird, and I go down to the burn damage, as he has that in front of him. I go into my Donphan, and I'm just going to Ice Shard because he doesn't really have a good Ice Shard switch in. He goes into Serperior. I don't know if that was a misclick, or if he wanted to like, or if he thought he could live. Like maybe if I was defensive he'd live, but yeah, I don't know what his plan was there, but he definitely didn't live, as you could see. And he goes into his Lopunny as I go to sack my Primarina to just sort of bring in some on the fake out, or I forget for what reason specifically. But here we're approaching endgame. I end up sacking my Prim because I didn't want to like. I wanted to see what this Lop wanted to do, and Donphan was still useful in case it was like Ice Punch or something. I wanted to scout for that. And here, I could have gone Terrakion and click CC and potentially won, but my worry was he would go. I would go into Terrakion, take the spikes damage. He would go into Klefki, sack it, and then he would bring in the Megalop, and Fake Out plus Quick Attack would then kill my Terrak because it's at -1. So instead of making that play, I also can't switch into Terrak and then double out, expecting the Klefki sack, because then when I come back in, Terrakion's at 50% and it also dies to Fake Out plus Quick Attack. And that is... So my assumption was, alright, maybe he doesn't have a move to kill my Donphan, as he does in fact have Return. I figured he'd have like Drain Punch to break things like Skarm and Kangaskhan, because a +1 Return does not kill a Kangaskhan if it's just even if it's just max HP, as you can see it does 69. As I Drain Punch, and unfortunately because I'm Spadef and not offensively invested, I don't kill this Lopunny, and now the thing I was fearing of doing is happening right now, where instead of having the option to do that and losing, I now of that situation I explained it before, I now have to lock into CC because Stone Edge doesn't kill the Klefki from where it's at, if I believe, as he does Quick Attack, and he doesn't risk it or whatever. I guess he didn't have Fake Out, so he would have to just purely rely on Quick Attack. And he T-Waves, I do not para, and we end up winning a very close game that should have been more in my favor, but wasn't, but I'm not going to complain. If you don't want to be spoiled on the Cheese versus Blake game, you can close out now, and I won't mind, but otherwise, Cheese has won that game, and that means we are not in playoffs despite having a 5-5 record, much like we're the only 5-5 record that didn't make playoffs, so that's cool. Maybe I'll do a wrap-up thing, or I guess I'll just go over it now. My team was not built around Kang. I wanted to build it around Kang, but then, like I said at the beginning, I got sick, and then I wasn't really like focusing on the team. I was focusing on getting better, and I just kind of picked stuff. And yeah, I wasn't really a fan of my team. If there was any transaction I would have made, it was dropping Kangaskhan for a different Mega, just one that fit better on the roster. The only reason I didn't do that was pride. I'm gonna be honest with you, it was just complete pride. And regardless of having what I felt was a very subpar team, I feel like I did decent with it. I could have played better in some scenarios. Like my first 2 games were just complete misplays on my part. The whole sub versus Z move thing with Venomoth week 1, my calc being wrong week 2, and apparently my calc being wrong week 9. But regardless, one of those games could have been a win, and I could have been in playoffs. So it is 100% on me that I did not make it, and that's fine. I'll try to do better next time. And yeah, next time I'll draft more fun stuff, because this team was so boring. I don't like Terrakion at all. I like Kang as a Pokemon. I don't like using it. I just like having it. I just like it as a mon in general. I like what it can do. But yeah, I'll try to draft more fun stuff. Prim was my favorite mon of the season, and I picked that up in a transaction. So anyway, that'll be it for me. I'm rambling, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.